Yeah.
Oh, we haven't started yet, but it's got a couple minutes. I just verifying.
Still that.
My clock says 7:30
And then the rest of
p.m.
in order of.
So I'm going to call the Libertarian Party of Colorado State Board meeting to order at 7:30. Do we have a secretary to take a roll call?
Okay. Chair Keith Lobby.
Present.
Vice Chair Doug Jones.
Here.
I'm here. Treasurer Allison Spink.
Here.
Affiliates Director Janet Turner.
He's here.
Campaigns Director Joe Johnson.
Here.
Communications Director Sean Vadney.
Here.
Fundraising Director Betty Rose Ryan.
Here.
Outreach Director John Jersman.
Yeah.
Legislative Director Ross Metler. Is Ross on?
He was.
Is that RHM 89?
Yeah, Ross is on.
Okay. And then Membership Director Jeff Orrick.
Here.
And
Excellent.
then
Thank you. Well, go ahead.
do we
Should I
have,
come now?
do we have any guests?
Frank's here.
Frank? Anybody else? Jacob, Loria?
Hello.
Anyone else?
Am I coming through now?
Yes, we got
Okay,
you.
great.
Okay, that's it.
Okay, looks like we have everybody present, so we have a quorum. Next item on the agenda is approval of the agenda. The motion to approve the agenda.
So moved. Second.
Any objections?
I think there were some items that people wanted to add to the agenda, what I
Okay.
thought.
Is there any changes to agenda?
I was hoping just to briefly discuss how many crypto wallets we wanted to try to save some money. I can do that through email too. It's not a huge issue.
Okay.
I would like to add an item as well.
Who was that? Joe?
Joe Johnson,
Okay.
I have two candidates to get nominated.
Does that go under new business?
Yeah, I would imagine.
Okay. Jeff, did you have something?
Yeah, so that, I did send out I filled out the form for the item for, the contribution page. And then, I did not send out an item for, coming up with a policy for giving candidates data, but, I guess I could move that from my report.
You said giving candidates civi access?
Well, that's one way of doing it. But I mean, fundamentally, we need to come up with a policy for what data they get to see. So
Okay.
Will that be any new business?
Okay.
I mean, I can shoehorn it into my report because it's a membership director function.
Okay. Is there anybody else? Okay, Keith, now.
Yeah, I can. I got my board report in. I might need to make a motion to add that to the board report. I don't know if that got in to the record. And I can also take a minute to explain what's in there, if that would be helpful.
I'm not sure.
Typically, we don't read board reports during the board meeting. I mean, people can read those outside the meeting time. Unless there's a discussion item, then we need to add the discussion item to the agenda. So Ross,
Yeah,
the
it would
discussion
be a
item.
discussion item.
So what's your discussion item?
It would be on two initiatives that I think the party should pay attention to and the legislative response to them.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. With all those additions to the agenda, do we have motion to accept the agenda with the additions?
So moved.
If you make
Second.
if you make a motion or a second, please say your name because I can't see who's talking.
Move Joe Johnson.
Okay.
Second, Jeff Warrock.
I have a motion and a second. Any objections to accepting the agenda?
Who was the second?
Jeff
Jeff.
Warrock.
Okay. Thank you.
And no objections? Hearing none, the revised agenda is approved. Next item is approval of previous board meeting minutes, which was on April 19th. Is there any changes, corrections, or additions to the April 19th board meeting? Okay, hearing none, I guess those are good. We don't need to approve those, do we? I think we're good. I guess we should. Do we have a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved.
It's moved by Doug. There's a second.
Allison seconds.
Thank you, Allison.
Okay, any objections? Hearing none, the board minutes from April 19th are approved. Alice, would you like to give us a short treasurer's report?
Sure. Not much of a change since the last report at convention. We have, sorry, I had it open and I left it. We currently have 24,000 in the state account, about 6,000 in the federal account. We still have the DoubleTree to pay. They've charged a credit card. We don't know whose credit card they've charged. So need to sort that out. So we've got about $12,000. It's the DoubleTree and Willie McBride. He hasn't cashed his check yet. So that leaves us with about 12,000 in cash. I would like to start transferring, I know I've mentioned this before, transferring some money to the federal account to get compliant for what was spent on state activities. Tracer is going into, or Secretary of State, into 2-week filings, which is super fun. I'm excited for that. Yeah, I mean, everything else is in the report if anyone wants to look.
When would you want to start transferring money to the federal account?
I didn't put that on the agenda, so I'm trying not to talk too much about it, but I'd like to start doing it like now. I mean, maybe I think I proposed in my board report transferring 5,000 now, and then like 15 or 25% of quarterly donations, just so I don't have to do it every month. So if we get 3,000 in donations, we just send, let's say, 20% to the federal account. So then we have a plan that we're executing on. But this, I was kind of holding off until after convention, just so that that was our biggest expense, that we knew really what our financial situation looked like to start paying that off.
Okay. Yeah, it looks like we have enough, but I guess since we don't have that, do we have that dollar amount from DoubleTree, what they're going to bill us?
Yes, I have that. Yep.
Okay.
And it's not that they didn't bill us. They billed us and they charged a credit card.
Yeah.
We just don't know whose credit card. And I honestly haven't even gone and looked if it was one of mine, which is possible.
Okay.
But I'll get that sorted.
Okay. I guess do we want to make a motion on transferring funds between our bank accounts? Or do we have to make a motion to do that? Probably should.
I make a motion to transfer funds according to Allison's outline.
John Tursman seconds.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Okay, we've got a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Just from me, I mean, I wasn't super clear. I know I mentioned the 5,000. I don't know if we're also voting on like the quarterly amount as well. And if so, then we should clarify what percentage we want to do. I was just throwing out a range of 15 to 25%.
I would like to amend my motion to say 20% of future donations.
And how long are we gonna do that though?
until we pay off $30,000.
30,000, all right.
I think that was, yeah, 31,000, I think it is.
But there's already 6,000 in there, right?
Well, that 6,000, that's just it's not really relevant. It's just left over from stuff that wasn't spent.
So it's an additional 31,000.
31 will go into the federal account, so the federal will have 31 plus 6 for 37.
Okay.
Okay, we have a motion, just a second. Any more discussion?
So I need a question. Does that motion include, is that the $5,000 plus 20%
Of-
quarterly of monthly contributions?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Robin.
Thank you.
Okay. Any objections to the motion? Hearing none, it passes. Next item,
I
the,
have a question on the treasurer's report.
Oh.
These,
go ahead.
Allison, on, last October there was $11,000 that came into the account. And then $10,000 plus went out and paid convention expenses for October. Do you know where that $11,000 came from?
I'd have to go back and check. I assumed it was convention fees, but I'll double check on that, Betty Rose.
Okay, I was just curious because I don't think well, I don't know. I don't know how they made the 11,000. I would appreciate it at some point. No hurt.
No, I mean, even from my perspective, when I was looking at that, it seemed a little weird to get that much in the month of the convention. So I'll definitely go in and take a look and get back to you.
I believe one of the speakers paid to speak like $4,000, right? Or made a contribution at that time.
That's illegal.
Hmm.
It would have to be less than 4,000.
Well, that was Willie McBride, and he's one of the people we had to give up $1,100 back to.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
Okay. Any other questions for Allison? Okay, next item on the agenda is just a recap of the 26th State Convention Committee. Do you have anything to share with us?
I don't have anything other than what my report said. We didn't quite break even, but it's pretty close. And considering the schism that we were dealing with in the short time frame, I think we did pretty well. We have some leftover ribbons for next year. Didn't overbuy the badges though, so those will have to be purchased again, but that's about it.
Any questions for Betty Rose?
I had a question. The treasurer's report showed $12,000 net loss for that.
No. $12,000 total expenses.
Ah,
And I showed 10,000 of donations for the convention fees, but I also made a note that I need to go in and move some things. There were some convention fees that came in as non-convention related, so I need to kind of scrub through the data, but since I didn't send my report till today, I didn't get around to it yet. So I did want to put that out there that Betty Rose is closer to the detail than I am at this point with the convention, so I do believe that we are close to break even on that.
very good. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions for Betty Rose? Okay, move to unfinished business. Do we have any unfinished business besides I guess the only thing I have is we are adding some national convention delegates. We've had, this is my records, we have Bennett Rutledge, Don Vermillion, Janet Turner, Andrew Gibson, and Ami Maruka want to attend the national convention. And so for our bylaws, we can add those delegates to the list of national delegates.
So moved. Joe Johnson.
Betty Rose, second.
Thank you.
Okay, any discussion? I assume someone's contacted. Joe, were you in contact with most of these folks?
Yes,
Okay. And they're all planning on coming?
indeed.
Okay, excellent. All right. Any other discussion items on this one? Discussion? Hearing none, anybody object to adding these members to the list of national delegates? Hearing none, it passes. And I'll add those to the list National has then. New
What's our
business. Excuse me?
What's our count? Louder. What is the total count of delegates now?
Thought we had 27. 8, 29, 31. Number about maybe 33 now.
We, I don't know if you have on your list that the Woods have dropped out.
I have not removed anybody off the list.
Okay.
The woods dropped off.
So I think around 32, 33. I have to double check on that. So there's still a couple slots open. All right. Any other unfinished business? We'll move to new business. And I want to bring this up as a, at least as a discussion item, whether we take action on it or not, depends. But I think we really need to look at the 2028 National Convention is going to be in El Paso, Texas, which is a very, I guess, good location for us. I think it's about 8 or 9, 10-hour drive, depending where you live in Colorado, to go south to El Paso. But it's going to be in February. I don't have a date in February. They say it's in February. And typically, according to the national bylaws, they're supposed to let us know how many delegates that Colorado will get. We won't know until probably the last day of August. That's their deadline to tell us how many national delegates Colorado will be allotted. And so we need to find a process, or how are we going to nominate those national convention delegates? And so I threw out the idea of, well, if we had our convention in the fall, we could do it. If we had a convention in September, we could do the nomination of those delegates in September. Otherwise, we have to do some kind of a special convention or online convention or something of that nature. So I'm open to ideas.
I would like to speak against moving the convention from the spring to the fall for a couple of reasons. Number one, it will look like we're trying to extend our time on the board well beyond what is normal. Number two, we still have to have that spring convention in a very short window. So we will be stuck with the same kind of thing that we had this year. Not enough time to advertise the convention, not enough time in between conventions to make people feel like they're going to go to both. So I propose, since there's nothing that says we can't do this, I propose that we nominate or elect 30 delegates in the spring, or late spring, and fill the rest of them as alternates in order of popularity or vote. And then if we find out we have 37, we take 7 off the alternate list and put them in. And that gives people, number one, it gives them 9 months or 8 months at least before the convention, so they can save money and make sure that they can go. Even if we held it in October or September, that's still a small window.
I would offer a slight change to that. I would just say we nominate everybody who wants to be a delegate gets nominated as a delegate, with the understanding that the highest vote getters become those delegates. So if we discover that we only have 28, we had nominated 35, those 28 are, and then everybody else becomes alternates. That way we don't have to worry about switching back and forth, whatever.
I mean,
Same idea.
my thinking is that we don't want to appear like we're trying to stretch our term. And we also don't want to put the next board that gets elected then in that same position we were in this time.
And don't we have
rules in our bylaws concerning the fact that we need to have it in the spring? I'm not that familiar with the bylaws, so I don't know the answer to that question. It's a genuine question. I don't know.
We used to. I didn't
Yeah.
see it in the box
Yeah.
when I was looking. It used to
And the
say
state bylaws, there's nothing about time of year. We do have 180 days between conventions, which we're going to, at least I hope we're going to propose to change that in 27 at the convention. We'll modify that bylaw to be at maybe 120 days. Okay.
Anyway,
And then I guess you have to read through the bylaws and on your idea, there's Joe and Betty Rose, if we have to tweak some bylaws in 27 convention to make that, maybe we have to wordsmith that bylaw a little bit. So what we're doing is, since we don't know the number of delegates, but you're right, I think that's a good way to do it. Do the top vote getters. If we only have 25 delegates, the top 25 vote getters go. If we have 40, then we can, whatever it is, we have a plan then. Okay. Any other discussion on this?
thank you for bringing it up, though.
Yeah, because I think in June or July meeting we're gonna be putting the convention committee together, so they they need to know when their convention's going to be.
Jacob's still on. May I ask him a question?
Oh, we heard you say that.
Is Jacob still on?
You have a question for Jacob?
I do.
Yeah, Jacob's still on. I don't know if
Yeah,
do you
I'm
ask
here.
your question? He's live.
Jacob, you volunteered to be on the convention committee. Are you still wanting to help with that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. And I will check with Valerie and see if she wants to.
Okay.
Well, I quickly skimmed over the bylaws. It doesn't look like there are any time constraints on when national convention delegates are to be nominated. So I think that Betty Rose's plan is viable.
Yeah, the one thing that the bylaws do say is that the total number of votes cast by each member is the number of delegates that we're sending. So we'll have to say how many, everybody gets 30 votes. We might have to tweak the bylaws a little bit so we can maybe go off the last convention and say that's how many votes everybody gets, and the top vote getters go. I think we need to look at that. And see if it seems like a doable deal.
Or
Yeah.
maybe a suggestion to the bylaws committee when they discuss it is to change that just so that it says the top vote getters become the delegates, leaving that open so that way if our number of fluxes from convention to convention are covered regardless.
I am
Well,
hoping national will continue with the February conventions.
yeah, I think at the convention we need to know how many votes everybody gets. So did they get 100 votes, 1,000 votes, or they get somewhere we need to come up with a number. And so I will let the bylaws committee look at that. Maybe they can wordsmith that. So as far as my report, or I guess my suggestion here, my action item, I think at this time maybe we'll I don't know if we need to take a vote on this. It's more of a discussion. I think we move it to the bylaws committee. If someone wants to make a motion for that, so they can look at a nomination of national convention delegates and see what language, I guess if it doesn't change at the convention, then we're sort of, I guess, what is our options? Can we do an online convention where people are voting? How complicated would that be?
I believe that the bylaws allow for special conventions to be, I mean, if we wanted to do it that way, I mean, it's a little goofy, but we could even theoretically have a special convention immediately following the annual convention and
Well,
Sorry, I'm trying to read and think at the same time.
Yeah, I think the only issue I have is we're putting our trust in our convention, the attendees in 27, they changed the bylaw accordingly so we can move forward with our idea. Which I have trust in our people, so I'm.
Is that in the bylaw or the convention rules?
It's in the bylaws. Yeah.
Okay.
So I would, if we want to make a motion, I could entertain a motion to have the bylaws committee look at making adjustments or modifications to the nomination of National Convention delegates to see how we can elect National Convention delegates before we know the exact number of delegates. Because this would come up again in future years too.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I move that we refer this to the bylaws committee and table this discussion until we hear from them.
Do I have a
Second.
motion?
Betty
And
Rose.
Betty Rose seconds. Okay. Any further discussion?
Just one last piece, my thinking on it is if National is going to make it a permanent change, that it's going to be in February every year, then we probably want to look at moving our convention. I think it's premature for us to consider moving our conventions if that's not permanent. So once we know that, then I'd be more comfortable with changing our convention date. It's the only reason why I'm reluctant to do it now.
And to piggyback on what Joe said, I was in a convention, in a meeting with people, the convention or national, and it was said that national cannot possibly keep this February thing because it messes with too many states. Conventions. And especially if they're gonna flip flop.
Okay. All right, so we have a motion and a second. Any objections?
I have a question.
Yes, John.
Why, you probably said, but why did they decide they need to do the convention in February?
I didn't say. I think the reason is to get our presidential candidates a little bit more time to campaign. If we do it Memorial Day weekend, then their campaign starts in June or something. This way they got more of a running start. I don't know if that's the reason or not. That's what I think I heard.
Yes, that was part of the reason that it was expressed to me. And then I found out the reason we used to do it September before. Our conventions used to be in September the year before. And they decided to move it so that they could challenge the petitioning requirements in some states. And they successfully defeated the petitioning. If we moved it back to September, like I thought we might, we may run into that same issue. So I think February was the earliest they could do it, but it does mess with a lot of states. Us in particular, because we have this narrow window anyway to have that spring convention because of the 73-day requirement.
Okay. All right, so we have a motion and a second. Any objections? Hearing none, the motion passes. Joe Johnson, you had an action or an item here for new business.
Yes, I would like to nominate, I've got two candidates to nominate. I've got Daniel Lutz for House District, the Colorado House District 49, and Charles McCollum for Weld County Commissioner District 2.
Let me see that name.
Charles McCollum.
Can you spell that for me?
McCollum.
Thank you.
McCollum.
And what was he for House District?
No, I'm sorry, he's Weld County Commissioner District 2. Daniel Lutz was House District 49.
Commissioner District.
Okay. Thank you.
So what grounds do we have that we can add candidates to the ballot after our convention?
Yeah, so this is the email that I had sent out earlier. I didn't get any responses, so here we are. If you read the minor party bill, it defines vacancies, but does not specifically say one way or the other about filling vacancy that was vacant coming out of our convention. So you can interpret that as either it's prohibited or it's allowed. If you read the major party bill, it specifically says that they are allowed to fill vacancies for races that were not filled at convention. So there are some people who interpret that we can, some people who interpret that we cannot. There are some people who say that we should be filling these races and see what happens. The penalty, I looked into it, the penalty being, if they decide that we're not allowed to have it, is they simply remove them from the ballot. So there's no serious penalty to it. And that we set ourselves up for the potential to fight the state on this for equal rights, should we so do that. If they decide to bump these candidates off the ballot, we could challenge them and say, you allow the major parties to do this, but you're not allowing us to do this. Should we so choose to do that? We don't have a lot of money. And quite frankly, I think that they will just simply allow these candidates on the ballot. So it's basically we're running a test balloon against what the law is that is not clear here. So I've got two candidates who want to do this. One of these candidates said that if they throw me off the ballot and the party wants to do it, I would love to be the next Judd Patak and take the state on. So there it is. We have two candidates who'd like to be on the ballot. They're vacant by way of us having not filled those seats at convention.
So I have a question, Joe. Charles McCollum, was he nominated at the convention for House
He
District?
He was nominated for a House district, had to drop out of that race, but is willing to run for the county commissioner seat.
What's up with that? Why did he drop
He
out?
did not want to give all his personal information for the financial disclosure form, but he's not required to do that for a county commissioner seat, so he's more comfortable with running for that seat instead.
So he's not going to drop out again then?
No, like as I said, he was uncomfortable with giving all that information to the state for a race he's not likely to win anyway. He's like, if the law said that I had to fill this out after I got elected, that would be another story.
Okay. Yeah, I'm my interpretation, I read through the state statutes on minor party. It is very confusing between major party and minor party because minor party's interwoven and they have a section for minor party. But the way I read that is vacancies are those that drop out after the convention. That's my interpretation. I don't know what the state's interpretation is. So I guess this would help define what their interpretation is besides going ahead and ask them up front. They may or may not even give us an answer. I don't know.
Exactly my motivation here. As I said, they list several things that are distinctly vacancies. They don't mention a race that has not been nominated at convention. So it's, my interpretation was similar to yours. Several people have said that I'm wrong with that interpretation, and having listened to their argument, it's valid. It's simply not clear enough, in my opinion. And so this, like I said, in my opinion, is a great trial balloon. We've got two people willing to do it. That's the reason for my nominating.
Okay, so maybe next go around there'll be clearer language, or they'll be the same.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other
Or what is
discussion?
the-
Oh, go ahead, Joe.
Or what is the term in trial attorneys with precedent? We run a few candidates and they let them on there. Now we have precedent next election.
I don't think we should ask.
Exactly.
And we should just do it.
Yes.
Thus, those are the candidates I would like to nominate. I move that we do so.
Jeff Rock, second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Any objections? The motion passes. And so they'll get their paperwork submitted here in the next couple of weeks or whenever.
Indeed, I'll start working with them tomorrow.
And do Well, County, I don't have to sign anything, but for House District 49,
I still have one of your forms.
but I got the wrong date on it.
Oh, yeah.
So you have to send
Okay.
me, well, I'll see it at National Convention. Bring one along. I'll sign it there.
Okay.
Okay. Next item, Jeff, you had something you want to discuss.
Yeah, so the item I sent, I guess it was, this morning, is basically, my reading of the bylaws is that if you, especially the language in paragraph B of section 2 under sustaining membership, it says date of the last payment of at least that amount. So I'm saying that that means that anytime someone gives money, then that can, if it's big enough, then it counts towards sustaining membership. And so what I think we need to do, and I also believe, having experienced it myself, that there is the opportunity for confusion between the two pages. And so we should just combine the pages. We should add a control so that you can, because I believe at the time when I paid for Robert Holzhauser's membership, I didn't have a choice whether or not it was going to auto renew. So basically, you know, let's kind of build up a regular, you know, full service shopping cart where you can put things in, take them out. You can set options, small, medium, and large. You know, you can supply, you know, the information that you need. You know, if you're a surrogate dues payer, you know, you can specify who it is that you're paying dues for, like all that information captured on a single page. And then when you go to check out, you just pay the total amount. And so, I mean, being that I am working on trying to become certified to work on LP State's platform as a developer, I recognize that this task is probably just going to fall to me anyway, but I think that we as a board should take a position that, you know, these extra hoops are unnecessary and we're not going to do them anymore. Because I know that there's many places where it says, oh no, you have to go over here to do this. And so I think we need to kind of clean house, get rid of all of that language and move forward with a single contribution page.
Okay. Any further discussion?
I agree that it's a mess. The question is, do we need a motion or do you bring something up that we vote on? Are you asking?
Yeah, I mean, the motion is to, like I wrote down I actually filled out the form that I was supposed to fill out.
Right, but the question is, what would the motion be, or do you?
The
wanna make a
motion is to change the website and to track down any place where there's language that says you have to use the dues page to take that out. And I know there was a concern.
I understand, so that our secretary can write this down. What's the
Well,
motion?
I wrote it down. She's got it.
You want all that language as the motion?
No.
I
no.
wrote a specific thing and it said, what is the action?
Robin, could you read the motion?
There you go.
Window open.
Sorry, I just unmuted you after you said that.
No, I don't have that window open. It'll take me a couple minutes
Jeff,
to
do you
get
have-
there.
Did you just read the motion?
Just a second.
I've got it. the action item was to write and implement a specification for the above proposal, remove any and all language from the website, special or staying rules, policy manuals, and any other electronic or printed material that expresses or implies that dues may only be paid at a super special dues paying page.
Is that the whole motion?
Well, that's the action item.
I'm saying, I support you, Jeff, and I will move this. We just need language for our secretary.
So I think Jeff
Right.
was going here, but the reason it is that way, because this spring we worked with Molman Enterprises, and that's how we were sort of guided to do that, to be able to track sustaining membership. So I think, and maybe there's a way to do it, I don't know, but I think we need to talk to Molman to see how does that work with Civi, and how do we, because now when people pay from that membership page, they get into the Colorado sustaining group, and then you have to mate that with, are they registered libertarian? Because we have people that donate
So-
that aren't registered.
So in that case, I make a motion that we direct Jeff to work with Ken Molman to see what we can do about cleaning up the mess.
Well, Ken's gonna cost money. So I'm not, I mean, I think it's a good idea, Joe, but he's gonna charge us
Yes.
like,
I think we get him at the national convention and get him in a corner and ask him some questions.
well, I think if Jeff's a developer and he understands the site, like maybe Jeff just gets access and sees what's under there. And I mean, I'd like to know, does data go from the site to Stripe to Civi, or does it go from the site to Civi and Stripe? Or does it go, like, how is the data flowing to see how we can even implement something? Like if we only had one page, how we would be able to do that? Because what Keith is saying is accurate. We need to be able to see what's a sustaining member and what is just, I felt like spending $100 on the Libertarian Party today. And I don't know that our current setup allows for that. Or
So-
I don't know that the future setup allows for that.
So Ken just sent something out maybe in the last month to all the states, and he had a little paragraph, a few sentences about having the same thing we're talking about. And he goes, states need to have a donation page, and they need to have if they have membership, they have to have a membership page. So I think we need to have discussions with Ken Molman. And maybe there's a way, maybe he can do it. I don't know. I don't like it. I mean, but we set up the best we can. And I, even on the donation page, I didn't have $25 as a possibility, because then I've just confused people. Although some people still donate it, you can put any number you want. So I think someone recently did that. They just put $25 in, but as a write-in number.
I think there's too much precedent. First of all, at national, right? You can over a period of 12 months contribute bits until you hit the life member. So I mean, I think it's silly to say that, to even wonder if this can be done. I mean, it's a computer, you can make it do anything.
Anything we do.
And if the platform refuses to, if we can't modify the platform to suit our needs, then we find another platform.
And to Jeff's point, that's how I ended up with my lifetime membership years ago. I got a email from National, said, this is back when it was still $1,000, that so far you've already donated $925. You want to send us $75 and you're a lifetime member? And so I did. We really need to have that same capability, so that way we can entice people to keep giving us more money.
I think we need to have a way that if someone donates at least $25 in a year's time, they have that membership from the date of their first piece of that $25 to the end, but dated to the first piece. I don't know, the idea of saying you have to pay a $25 fee irritates me, because if somebody donates $100, they probably think that they're a member.
Yeah, and I think we all agree on that. The question comes down to the argument as to whether it can be done. And I agree with Jeff, like, I'm an analog guy, but come on, it's gotta be able to be done. Question is how.
All right, so I think we have actually two motions on the floor because Jeff sort of had one and then Joe had one. And so maybe we need to,
I retract mine due to Allison's comment, rather than cost money to have a conversation with Ken, so.
okay. So we have the motion initially to combine these two pages on our website. Any more discussion on this?
I'm against it at this point in time. I'm not against it. I'm 100% supportive. But we also need to get crypto on there. So I think it's best to kind of do it all together and brainstorm and make sure it's all functioning appropriately than to do it now and then do it again and then duplicate efforts.
And this is nothing, I mean, Jeff actually filled the form out and submit this, but it was like noon today and I just got home like a half an hour ago, could grab bite to eat and get on. So I'm not, one thing I'm trying to implement the best I can, but there's gonna be exceptions, but the things that aren't pressing, we really should get them to people early enough so we can think about them and make good decisions. And this is a good discussion item, I think, at this time. We need to have the discussion, but I'm like Alice, I'm a little hesitant to make an action item out of this right now.
What if the action, sorry, Keith, thought you were done.
Go ahead, Al.
What if the action item we do is we just form like a little website committee or something, and it's like me, Jeff, and Ross, or something along those lines, and kind of figure out how the data is flowing and kind of design something and then come back with this is what we want to do.
I like that idea, because I completely agree this needs to be done, but we're kind of like just trying to pass a motion on what might be done. I think it's a good idea for you guys to figure out what can be done, and then we simply pass it.
I would like Jeff to talk to Ken Molman and get a little more background information of why does Ken say this to all the states? And then maybe, is that a good starting point? Because that's the unknown. We don't know. How is Ken going to say, well, if you want to do that, then you're on your own. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what he put that in his email a few weeks ago.
I think that's
All right.
something that, sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, if you wanna, refer it to a committee, and form a committee, that sounds like a proper motion.
I don't know if we need a committee at this point. I think we just need to get Ken Molman's perspective of what are options for Colorado. And we could talk to him at convention. I mean, he'd probably chat with us about it.
So
All
do
right,
we not have access to the forms that are built through Civi? The forms that make the contribution pages? Because if we do, we could just do it.
Are those forms in Civi?
Yeah, it's a part of the Civi platform. You hook them up through Stripe, but so to answer your question, if those are the forms we're using rather than like the Stripe contribution page, the data goes to both Stripe and Civi, not through Stripe.
If we don't have access, I think we should. I don't think we should be dependent on a third party for our own information and systems.
Agreed.
Yeah, I mean, the trouble is that, when City CRM was originally written, it was designed to be coupled with some kind of content management system. And so that includes Drupal, Joomla, and WordPress, and we're on a platform where it is coupled with WordPress. Then more recently, some number of years ago, but not far back as when Civi was first made, they finally came up with a standalone implementation of Civi so that it is not tightly coupled with the content management system. In some respects, I kind of wish that it just sounds cleaner that way, but that's a much bigger bridge to cross. So at this point, I'm assuming that there's either an extension or perhaps the core software has, the donation taking. My suspicion is that it would be an extension, or that there may be a more sophisticated extension out there that we could use in place of sort of whatever's
We
built
could
in.
replace all of this infrastructure in like a matter of minutes now. I think I'm just gonna go back. I really think that maybe a few of us should have a hands-on kind of workshop and go through the systems and see where things are being done, where the forms are, why they're set up. I think we can figure it out, a lot of it out too. I mean, we can even host our website for free. There's a lot of stuff that we can do, and I think we have the knowledge on this team to do it.
Does there need to be a motion to ask you guys to get together and talk about this?
I say we push this off a month. You guys get together, come back next month.
Now, that's what I was about to do, actually, was to postpone this to the next board meeting. So I moved to postpone this whatever this is, to the June board meeting.
Second,
Thank you.
Joe Johnson.
Okay, I've got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Any objections? Hearing none, it'll be postponed to the June board meeting. Next item, Ross, you had some legislative issues or initiatives you wanted to talk about?
Yeah, thank you. I just wanted to bring up there's an initiative I've been following, Initiative 175, which would amend the state constitution to require that fees and taxes raised through like gas taxes and anything transportation related, all your registration fees and stuff like that, it would require that that goes to building roads and bridges. Because currently it's being used for all kinds of stuff. Some of it's going to schools, some of it's going to EV tech and all over the place. The reason I bring it up is because the legislature saw that and saw that they were making good headway on their signatures and put forth Bill 1430, which basically just preempts and nullifies Initiative 175 if it passes in November. So they would, once we require that taxes go where they say they're going to go, Bill 1430 would lower those taxes so that it wouldn't matter, and they can raise taxes somewhere else. There's another initiative, Initiative 177, which is natural gas related, because they want to, I forget if it's within the next 5 years, the next 10 years, basically eliminate natural gas usage in Colorado. Proposition or Initiative 177 would enshrine that in the Constitution, and they're trying to do another end round around that one too. I believe that, I forget what bill number that is. I think it's 1346. So I thought that 175 in particular, the one that requires that transportation taxes go to roads and bridges, would be a great thing for the LP to support, to help. I think that's Advanced Colorado that's doing that one. I could have those mixed up. But that would be a great thing to push out to affiliates to try and help get signatures, raise some volunteers for that. So that's mainly why I wanted to bring it up, and just general attention for towards what the legislature is doing and preempting citizens' initiatives before they even get on the ballot, which is pretty crazy egregious to me. So yeah, I thought that would be a good thing for the party to help with if we can get behind that initiative. And secondarily, I just wanted to bring up, I'm working on getting some automated legislative pipelines for the party and for candidates, if I can figure out a slick way to do that, where candidates would get legislative updates for the districts they're running in or the positions they're running for. And it occurred to me that that would also be a great application for a dedicated X account. If I had API access, I could just pump out regular updates automated, so that our people know what to go testify on and just generally what's happening that week or that month.
Just one thing on that, Ross. The API for X costs $100 a month.
It doesn't anymore, actually. Now I forget it's not rate limited. They do it by call. It's like 1.4 cents a call.
Okay.
Yeah, that it's changed a bunch in the last like 6 months.
Ross, first of all, thank you, thank you, thank you. I did not know about this and this 175. I ran for State House 3 times before, and that was my key issue, was the fact that way back in the day, the money went to your bridges and roads, and that they removed that restriction and spent it on everything else. And then there's Sleepy Joe Biden on the TV saying we got to raise your taxes in order to take care of the infrastructure. So I had no idea. So thank you very much for finding this. So a huge capital yes, as far as me trying to work with our candidates to try to get them out in front of this and to help with this. So any information that you pass to the pipeline to me, I will certainly make sure gets to the candidates. Until you come up with that slick thing that you're working on, I can still reach out to them all manually. Question for you. Penn Fifner sent out a thing 2 weeks ago about attacks on Tabor, and he's putting a committee together, etc. Are you familiar with what they are?
Is he part of CUT? I know I've met him before.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure what the committee is that he has created. He is a longtime libertarian. He served in the state house for a while as a Republican, and he said that there's a massive attack against Tabor, and that's what they're building. I don't know if it's called CUT or not.
Well, CUT is Colorado Union of Taxpayers, and he probably is a member of that, but I don't know if he's the president of it.
And it sounded from this
So I-
email that he's creating this
Yeah,
new thing.
I think
Okay.
I think he's making a new committee.
Okay. So he's doing it
Right.
because there are stuff coming down the pipeline to attack Tabor, and he's trying to cut that off. I was just curious if you knew what they were.
No, I don't. I'll see if I have that email. I probably do.
Do you have any intel, Frank?
No.
Okay.
There it
Yeah,
is.
he's I think they just got a committee named here like yesterday. I can't remember the name. It's something about families or Tabor for families or Tabor against or I don't know. But he's putting it together. It's still in the initial stages. I sent an email out to our membership. So I think we have several members that have responded to him wanting to help. He had a lot of different positions he needed people for.
Okay, great. I'll check that out.
And it's still, I think the opposition, I mean, he's ahead of I mean, they still have to get their ducks lined up. There's 2 different possibilities, 2 different attacks on Tabor. I think one is going to be initiative. One is actually going through the legislature now. And so probably the next 30 days, we'll know more about what we're fighting against. But there's definitely, I mean, every cycle they attack Tabor. Somebody does.
Yeah, and that just reminded me the secondary reason I brought this up is because if this passes, it occurs to me that if this initiative passes and we get our constitution modified, it creates a great opportunity for us to argue that, well, school taxes work this way, and now transportation taxes would work this way. It's a good argument that maybe all taxes should work this way. So it could be, really useful to our cause.
Indeed.
I will say the counter argument that I've heard over and over again that occurred to me, I don't agree with it, but the counter argument is that, well, enshrining this in the Constitution would justify the taxes. And yeah, I'm just of the opinion that I'd rather see them where they're supposed to go than what we have right now. So incremental change is better than nothing.
Agree. until we get rid of it, make sure you're spending on what we paid it for.
Yeah.
Okay, anything else, Ross?
So that's it. That's all I wanted to bring up. And the Twitter thing isn't something I expect to act on. I just wanted to raise that as that could potentially be helpful and get us a lot more traffic.
So, the question real quick, $50 a month would buy us 500? No. Yeah. 5,000? 100 times 50. Yeah, 5,000 calls? Is that what you're saying, basically? Said the API cost is per call? Or did I misunderstand something?
Oh, sorry, I was on mute there. Yeah, $100 would get us about 500 calls. They charge extra if you want to put a URL right in it. So I would probably just get around that. I'd put the URL in a reply or something. But yeah, if we didn't have URLs embedded in the post, it'd be pretty cheap.
Okay.
Okay, any board announcements?
Keith,
Are you just opening the floor up now?
I think Jeff had another item, didn't you, Jeff? The policy for giving candidates data access?
Oh, excuse
Yes.
me. I'm sorry. Yes, Jeff, go ahead.
So I think this one is a pressing matter. I had received an email from Mr. Astley requesting, well, he was kind of discussing his strategy. Let me see if I can. Where did it go? Anyway, he wants to reach sustaining members, and eventually I guess he wants to try to reach unaffiliated voters in general. I think that's probably something that's more suitable for when he wins, or if he wins the primary. Yeah, I'm reading his email really quick here. So he says, yeah, registered libertarian voters and or sustaining members. He has intentions to reach voters not affiliated with us. Assuming he wins the primary, then I guess he can take action on that. He wants to increase party participation from those already affiliated, who may not be currently active in furthering our ideals. So he wants to know name, age, email address, mailing address. So what I replied to him was that voter data is essentially public information. I know that the Secretary of State and the counties, or some of the counties anyway, charge for it, but it is essentially considered public domain, as is campaign finance information. So I just turned over the list of registered libertarians as of the Monday that he had requested it. And then I made a call to Tracer. I mean, takes you just a few seconds. So I mean, I don't think, and I sent it to both, Sean and to Mr. Astley. So they both have equal data. The Tracer data is, takes a lot of effort to process, but it's there. But it does kind of raise the question, like how much access do we want candidates to have to the confidential contact information that we have collected from them over the years? And some of it may have come from National, but I believe there was a non-disclosure agreement with National. So that, basically the understanding is that, we don't just expose these email addresses to the world at large. So I think we need to come up with a policy sooner rather than later. And so that we can say the same thing to every, like, we can't just keep, you know, coming up with an off the cuff response. I think we need to have a standardized response and a standardized process. If we want them to jump through some hoops, we should spell out what those hoops are. And again, I mean, in some respects, I guess the ultimate solution is that if Civi had the ability to say, oh, I want to send to this list or to that list, then you don't even need to know who's on the list. You just send to the list. And that's, in my humble opinion, the mechanism that should be in place for just about any email you can think of that we might want to originate, for whatever reason. So until we get Civi to perform the way we want it to, I mean, we do need to have a policy so that when someone like Mr. Ashley makes a request, we can say, here's the answer. And because I basically just said, I don't think we have a policy. Here's some public information, have fun. And I think we have an interest in knowing, in supporting our candidates as much as possible. So that's, I guess, what I'm asking for is that we come up with a policy. And I think if we have time, I think we should bounce a couple of ideas around now, and maybe we can even pass a resolution and then see how many people will scream and protest, you know, and then we can amend the resolution. So I'm gonna leave it open to the floor now.
Betty Rose? I would like to, our first response should be that anything that's public knowledge and that's in our possession, we can give them, provided we're not breaking any campaign laws by giving them something that is of value. I don't know what the laws are for what the party does for the individual candidates, but we should be able to give them any public information without question. On the other issue, can we send something to our members for the candidate, or would that be considered overstepping the campaign laws? Does anybody know?
I would say if you send emails through the CRM, you have the protection of the contacts that are identified as do not email, you know, that sort of thing. You just give out email addresses, that's wide open, and we should not do that. It should go through CRM because of that protection.
Ross,
To my
you
knowledge, sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna ask you, because you've had a lot of work with CRM before, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, to my knowledge, I don't think there are any restrictions on sharing data with candidates or sending emails on their behalf, so long as we're not talking about a PAC or what is it, the candidate committees. I'm forgetting, independent expenditure committees. Those can't be coordinated. But as far as I know, parties, you know, I could see an argument for, like, I'm chair of Jeffco and I'm also running as a candidate, so I'm being careful about that. But accepting those situations, I don't think there's a problem with it either way.
See, I think, so if that's allowed and we can do that, I think that's probably the best way to do it. Send us the communication you want to send. We will send it from you, but through Civi from the party. And that way we don't have to run into any until a better system comes up. This way we can get the stuff out sooner rather than later.
I think in that situation, it would be better for them to just buy the data so that they don't have people on the do not email list. Because if they buy it, they can email everyone, but if they go through Civi, then they can't email the people who have told us not to.
Right, that is.
Who would they buy this information from? Are you just saying, like, Melissa Data or something? Just go out there and take your chances with a commercial.
Oh, I have no idea. Someone else said that they could buy it. It's public data. Can you not get it from Secretary of State?
Not emails.
I'm also thinking that we want to try to help our candidates wherever possible. So if it's something that we can give without running afoul of anything, then we should. The question is, what's the best way of doing that?
Yeah, I mean, one option would be to have just a very simple NDA. This data will not be used outside of campaign purposes, and just send it off. I mean, if we're collecting all this data, but we're not giving it to candidates, I'm not really sure what we're collecting all of this for.
Agreed.
Especially the financial information, some of the L2 data that's in there. That's what's really valuable to candidates, and less so the party, or less frequently at least.
So one thing, Jeff, you
Agreed.
said one of the candidates asked for the list of sustaining members. So if we gave all the candidates, the emails of all sustaining members, we have no control how many emails. I mean, if I was running, I'd send an email every 3 days to all the sustaining members. Hey, I'm raising money, send me money. And so that's the tough part. If we give that data out, some candidates won't do anything, and others are going to bombard people, and they'll get it. Our members will get it from so many candidates. So, one option I think was sort of brought up, that if a candidate wants to send something out, they send it through the state party. But maybe the other option is we put together a candidate guide, and whether we cater that to, congressional districts or different districts in this, House or Senate seats, so they can see the candidates in their district and who they can vote, so they know ahead of time who's on their ballot, and here's the website you can go to donate to this candidate. And we could send that out numerous times. And then there's, you can say, well, do we treat the statewide candidates differently, or we focus on, I mean, I don't know how many people are running for office. I know we have a lot of people on the ballot, but I don't know how many people are running. Do we know how many people are running for office, campaigning?
I forget the exact number. I apologize. I have that number. I just don't have it in my head. I want to say it's 39, something like that.
That's how many people are on that's how many people on the ballot. We have like around 39. Now we have maybe 41 on the ballot. But how many people are campaigning?
Well, as far as campaigning, as far as I know, we have 3 federal races that are quote real, and 2 to 3 state races that are quote real. And we've got definitely 3 to 4 that are quote real, and then we may have 1 county commissioner seat that's real. So we're talking less than a dozen.
How many state house, state senate? So any of those people running or campaigning?
Oh, that's as state house. We have 3, possibly 4 candidates there. So it's less than a dozen. I'm hearkening back to when I ran and won my race for trustee in Frederick. At the time, everything was run through David Atkin. If you wanted to send something out, he sent it out. And so I would put together what I needed to do. He would go and he'd kick them back when I was pushing a line, what have you. But ultimately, when I did, fundraising letter, what have you, it went out to everybody in the state. And I'd have to say probably half of my donations came from people that lived nowhere near me. And then I would write handwritten letters. You remember our candidate training last week, I'd write handwritten thank you letters. And every time I sent one of those, at least half would send me another check because they were so impressed that I sent them a handwritten letter. The point being is, limiting it to their district, I wouldn't have raised anywhere near the money that I did. So I'm not sure what the answer is.
And that'd be harder to do, actually, but But maybe that's a service the party. I mean, I want to help the candidates. So maybe that's a service the party could do is we will do some outreach for you through our database membership. And they don't have to worry about that. They just have to send what information do you want, and we'll send it to the people.
Yeah, David had me put together basically the fundraising letter. I'd sent it to him. And as I said, he kicked it back a couple times. Sorry, no, we can't send that. We're gonna have to take this line out, what have you. So he definitely ran a tight ship as far as doing that. So we probably want to put some sort of limitation on it, because the point that you made earlier about some people just don't get it and they want to send an email every day, right? And just inundate our candidate or inundate our members. So we either need to put that as part of a non-disclosure, or we need to have a gatekeeper just to protect our members. I want to make sure our candidates can reach out to our members. By the same token, for that guy who doesn't get a clue, I'm harkening back to Rick Stanley, who was sending 5 faxes a day, and we had people threatening to sue us because of it. Not everybody quite gets it, you know. So I'm not sure either as part of the non-disclosure that you can only send them out so often, or we play gatekeeper on our end.
And I was on the national board when we had the Gene Shinseki battle, where he bought the mail list to use for his state or whatever. And because that mail list was seeded, we found out that he was then reusing it for other purposes. And I don't think that our candidates would do that. But it is a possibility that data then gets sold someplace else. And I think that we need to figure out something before we just hand it out, how to protect the data. But I think for right now, at least at this very moment, we need to give them anything that's public information. If we have it and it's public information, give it to them and we'll figure out the rest. I guess. I don't know. You're right. We need to do it right away.
Do you have something, Ross?
I was just thinking as far as emails go, I mean, I'm as particular about this as probably anyone with personal data, but if I'm giving my personal data to a political party, I would kind of expect that ends up with candidates that are running for that party. I mean, that's kind of the point. So just my thought there.
You know, I completely agree with you. Like I said, I want to try to find that balance between, giving our candidates everything that they need to succeed with protecting the rights of our members. Again, against that guy who just doesn't get it and wants to send 5 emails a day.
Sure, I get your point. Yeah.
Yeah, and my hope is in 28 we're going to have maybe 30 or 40 people actually campaigning.
Indeed.
We're going to have a lot more people on the ballot, but we'll have people running hardcore campaigns. But does this give you some guidance, Jeff? Is this you sort of reaching for ideas to draft something up?
Yeah, I mean, I got a general sense of it. I personally, I think for the time being, I am kind of leaning towards the gatekeeper approach. I mean, I hear what you're saying, because I know I've given money to things, and then I get a whole mess of envelopes in the mail that I end up shredding. And I personally get a ridiculous amount of email anyway, so it's just like, what's one more? I don't know. But I know there are other people out there who are very, I think they still believe that you shouldn't talk too long on the phone and things like that. So I mean, there are people out there I know who are not going to be happy if they get a lot of email. So I think in the interest of not upsetting anyone too much, that we probably want to take like a gatekeeper approach, at least to maybe that'll give us a sense. Like, how often did you send something to David Atkin?
maybe once a week.
Once
maybe.
a week? I mean, see, that seems like a reasonable amount, and to me, I don't know, and I mean, because if we are the gatekeeper and someone's marked themselves like, do not email me, then. I mean, why did they give us their email address if they don't want us to email them?
But at our
But-
candidate training, most of the candidates did not have a campaign team, is what I mean. There's a few that did, but most of them were pretty much on their own. So I really, and I've been there before. You might have a treasurer, but they're not active in your campaign. And so I think we really need to do whatever we can to help out. So I don't call it gatekeeper. I'm going to say facilitator and help the candidates with getting information to the membership. I think that's a service we can provide. And that's something they don't have to worry about how to use Civi. They don't have, I mean, it makes it a lot more simpler and easier for the candidates because they have to learn so much. And until they run a few times, or at least once. I mean, it's
That
just
is true. Quite frankly, if I was running an active campaign right now and somebody was offering to send out the campaign letter I just put together, heck yeah. Thank you very much.
I'd
yeah.
just like to note one downside on that is if our membership starts getting a whole lot of emails from us, they may be more likely to unsubscribe. I know I would. So if you've got a dozen campaigns going and you're sending one a week for each candidate, that's 12 emails a week. I am not staying on that email list.
Yeah, you
That's
could
not-
also make separate smart groups in Civi for each one. If they're different campaigns, they can be different subscriptions. So that's a possibility. And just another thing to throw out there, because I don't expect everyone to know this or use this, but you can make free email aliases. So you don't have to give your real email to anyone. Every time I sign up for something I don't really want to hear from, or I think I might cancel, or I'm afraid they might sell my information, I give them an alias and I can shut that off at any time and just stop getting those. So we we have the technology. There are other ways around it too, but yeah, all good things to consider.
And to your point, Allison, that's precisely where I'm going, is I don't want our members getting so inundated with campaign stuff that we take a look and suddenly our entire list says do not email, and then we can't do party business with them. So as I say, I want to try to make sure that I'm supporting the candidates and giving them everything they need to succeed without inundating our members. And I don't know what the perfect balance is.
Is there a possibility of sending something from us for the candidate under a different email? So that it looks like it's coming directly from the candidate? Is that a possibility?
That would be ideal.
It'd be tricky with Civi, but there are ways to do that.
I could suggest that, sorry, I could suggest that, and it could be a motion too, that the membership director be directed to give out public information, publicly available information freely on request to candidates. And then that the campaigns director send out no more than one email a week on campaigns, and they might combine multiple requests from various candidates into one email so that they don't get too many emails.
I would be supportive of that motion if it wasn't for the fact that your campaigns director is an analog guy and has no idea how to use Civi.
Yes, but you know how to create a message.
Yeah, no, I could create them and then send them to the membership director who knows how to send them out.
There you go.
And I don't know if I want to set a limit per week, because when you get to end of October, the week before election, you should be sending one out every day. Or whenever people get their ballots in the fall. And so I don't know if we want to constrain that.
Agreed, Keith. So then we're going to be sending 12 first 5 times 60. Goodness, someone's going to be sending 60 emails from Civi. Who's going to do that? Is that going to be Jeff?
No, I think that's up to the discretion of the person sending them out. Is this overwhelming too much? But I don't want to put constraints on that person. Depends what else we're putting out too. So I don't. because the week before, a couple weeks before election, people know they're going to get a lot of stuff. I mean,
I think ultimately, from all the conversations we've had tonight, it sounds like Civi's the issue and we need something better. I think that would solve a lot of problems. Like I know I is political, I'm not recommending them by any means, but they could, you could have your candidates in their campaign software for free. So like if there was a CRM system that we could also have with filing software and also put our candidates in it for free and they could just access all of the data and send it on their own. I know that's not going to be solved tonight, but
I think that the bottom line is people in our database are libertarians, and so you're not really getting their vote. You're trying to get donations, and so it's more of a fundraising mechanism. If the people in our database don't vote for you as a libertarian, then we need to take them. I don't know why they're in our database. I guess I don't know why they wouldn't vote for you. And so I think we got to keep that in mind. Even the registered libertarians, that's more get out the vote, I guess. That'd be what we do the 2 weeks before election is get out the vote and make sure people vote that are libertarian. Anyway, we got to move on. We're getting close to 9 o'clock here. Doug's made a motion, I guess. And we didn't have a second because I jumped in, I guess. I don't know. I do that. So do you want to keep your original motion, Doug, or do you want to revise it or amend it or?
Yeah, no, okay, to repeat the motion, that the membership director be directed to share freely any publicly available data that we have, make it easier for them, and that the campaigns director be responsible for the dissemination of
Yes.
emails to the distributing emails to as he sees fit to our CRM.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
Second by
You made the motion
Jeff, I think it was.
and Jeff
Doug
said,
made the motion, I'll seconded it.
Okay. Any further discussion?
I thought it was John.
I think the do not email stuff and the unsubscribe, those are all, I believe, based on FCC rules. So we can't just, throw that to the winds and just do whatever we want. And email people that said, don't email.
Yeah, but I took this motion to mean that we're doing it through Civi, and so therefore that Civi filters it, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
To make
Yeah,
that
and the
point.
Secretary of State, the public stuff is public and there's no emails.
Right.
So, okay,
Right.
Any other questions or discussion? Any objections to this motion? Hearing none, the motion passes. Okay, I think we're done with new business now, if I'm correct. Any other items? I think I got them all. Board announcements, any board announcements? I have an announcement on June, before our next meeting, June 6th, I'm going to have a booth at the Montrose Pride Fest on a Saturday. So if you're in Western Colorado, stop by. We'll move to any other board announcements?
Maybe Karen Ann wants to put in a
Yep.
plug for her.
The next one is member announcements. Karen Ann has her hand up.
Well, Mr. Chair, is this also the spot for comment or is that going to be
No,
different?
this is announcements.
Okay, because I have comment as well. So just the announcement is the LPCO in conjunction with Douglas County is doing Douglas County Pride Fest. Oh, the Sunday before National Convention. And it's been the first outreach booth in a while, so I'd really appreciate volunteers. There is a sign up page. Otherwise, just get in touch with me and I'll get you on the list. But it seems like it's going to be a lot of fun. I had a meeting with the organizers last night, and they seem to have their stuff together, and they're very conscious of avoiding controversy because Douglas County is kind of conservative, and there's been protests and things like that. So they're very aware. I think it's going to be a good event.
Excellent. Okay, any other member announcements? Hearing none, move to member comment period. Karen Ann.
Okay. Two things. First of all, with the new delegates that were selected, I'd like confirmation from the chair or the board in general that they're qualified under the bylaws. That's been a sticking point. I know Bennett is because he was at convention, but the qualifications to be a delegate for national are the same as to be a state delegate. So they needed to have been sustaining members 90 days before our state convention. So, okay, perfect. I just didn't recognize some names. I just wanted us to cross our I's and dot our T's. That was all. But the second comment is on the donation page for membership. I had heard the chair say like there wasn't a button for $25. If you guys are going to put it all on one page, I think you do need to have a $25 button and some kind of explanation that that is membership. Someone mentioned like if you gave 100, you wouldn't be a member. Yes, any amount over $25 in one payment gives you membership. But you don't want someone to give $20 and then not. So because it is 25, somewhere on that one page, you need a $25 button. Otherwise, that's where you're going to start running into problems. Anything over $25 in one payment, though, gets them membership. So I urge whoever's doing this to really closely look at the bylaws just to make sure that people know what they're getting and we don't have disappointed people. That's it. Thanks.
Thank you, Karen Ann. Any other member comments?
I would like to introduce Frank Atwood.
I happen to attend the Center Right Coalition meetings that now are currently being held at Colorado Christian University, and currently no report from there for the moment, but look forward to keeping you informed.
Thank you, Frank. Any other comments? Hearing none.
I have one. I have one.
Yes,
I
Robin.
couldn't get muted fast enough. Unmuted. Ross, do you want to tell us about your event tomorrow night?
Oh yeah, thank you. I'm having my launch event at the Gallery Range and Restaurant tomorrow evening at 7 p.m. And I'll be there a little early to shoot if anyone wants to shoot.
Excellent.
A launch event for what?
For my campaign for HD23.
Oh, okay.
What time do we go to shoot?
And 6 on. From 6 to 7 I'll be there.
Thank you.
Are you going, John?
Yeah.
I'll give you a check to give to Ross. Ross, how do I make a check for your campaign?
The committee name is Ross Metler for Colorado House District 23.
For the letter for or the spelled out?
The word FOR.
For
Colorado House District 23.
I've been sitting here eating candy.
Okay, any other comments? I'll ask a motion to adjourn.
I second.
Got a motion to second adjourn. Any objections? Hearing none, we're adjourned at 9:03. Thank you.
Who made the motion to adjourn?
It's on the agenda. We're done. You gotta do the one.
Yeah.
Seriously?